Hello and welcome to another Aptera news update, this time more or less for the end of August. Starting with a small accelerator update, we have now passed the $20 million milestone, despite the fact that there are no unaccredited investors allowed to invest at the moment, but we are assured that that will open again soon for regular investors, which is great news. Hopefully, as soon as the accelerator program opens up again to non-accredited investors, we'll have another little rush and a few more millions in the bank. As you've probably already seen, Aptera has been very active on the road. There has been a very wide range of media coverage, which is great to see. Up until now, a lot of the fan-made Aptera promotional material, including material from myself, has very much been focused on the kind of engineering types, which limits a lot of Aptera's appeal to a very niche market in a way. So it's great to see that we're now spreading a much wider net and getting many more people interested in the Aptera vehicle. One video that did actually interest me in particular was one from someone called Kim Javas, I hope I'm saying that name right, who did a small spot on Aptera. She's just got under 200,000 subs, so she's quite a large channel already, and she seems to appeal to quite a large audience. And this video actually had some very interesting bits of information. First up was the fact that the knock-knock is still not confirmed as the de facto way to open up the Aptera. Although it's still a very cool way to do it, they are experimenting and toying with ideas such as a touch mechanism or a stroke system, maybe like a secret stroke pattern maybe, to open up the Aptera as opposed to the knock-knock and remembering the knock-knock code, which quite surprised me because I didn't really think that they were looking into any other door opening mechanisms. I thought that was all fixed and finished, but apparently I was wrong. To me, if they have the knock-knock system or not, it doesn't really make a difference, but I would like to have some kind of novelty, some kind of interesting new cutting-edge system to be able to open up the Aptera, just simply because the doors are so cool. Having a cool way to open it would be the icing on the cake, I think. The next bit of interesting news, and perhaps the biggest bombshell for me, was that the Aptera may still be getting a 110 volt outlet inside the Aptera. That's alongside 2 USB-C ports and 2 USB-A ports, probably. Now, this is huge news because not so long ago, Aptera's head of design dismissed the idea of having a 110 volt outlet, and I suspect that was because of the aesthetics being ruined, not because it wasn't technically possible within the Aptera, which it obviously is. And Chris seemed to imply that it would be somewhere at the front of the Aptera, around the glove box area, if I understood his intent correctly. You can check it out in the video, I've linked it below. It's around the 8-minute 10-second mark, and then he starts talking about the connections within the car and the ways you can charge your phones and things like that. If we do have a 110 volt outlet, that is amazing news, and hopefully that will change to a 230, 240 volt outlet for the European side. But a standard power socket just opens up a whole new world of possibilities and flexibilities for anybody that owns an EV with this kind of functionality. For me, it's one of the major advantages and major selling points, even though it's only a small thing, that EVs have over ICE vehicles, over petrol vehicles, over any other kind of vehicle that can't do this kind of trick so easily. Yes, you could have done it from like a cigarette outlet or something like that, but it's so much easier if you don't have to think about packing an additional converter, or maybe even having to pack several devices that then convert the power to something else that you can then use, because that's just annoying. So please, please Aptera, I'm speaking directly to the bosses now, give us a 110 volt outlet in the Aptera as standard. Everybody wants it. I can't think of a reason why somebody wouldn't want it. It is a great selling point. Okay, I've had my rant. Let's get on with the news. We saw the Aptera doing a laminar flow test in a small clip. That was quite amusing to see because it looked like the bits of string were just stuck down. There was so little turbulence on the Aptera, so I'd take that as a very good sign. Aerodynamics are performing as expected. The test itself looks very rudimentary, but it's still an industry standard, and it is a very good way to see how turbulence flows and how the air moves over the body of a vehicle. And lastly, another point that some of the other channels have already covered is the revelation that the battery pack is actually slightly cleverer than we originally thought. I think many of us assumed that the battery packs would stay the same size and shape, and like they do in other vehicles, they would either add more or they would stack them or something like that in order to get the additional range that they're looking for. But in actual fact, Aptera is doing it in a very clever way, and they're just using taller cells which don't actually exist yet, but will do soon. So they're just raising the height of the battery pack like a sandwich with the batteries as the filling. This means that the layout inside every single vehicle is exactly the same, regardless if it's the 250 mile, the 400, the 600, or the 1000 mile vehicle. The only difference being with the 1000 mile vehicle is that they have a slightly different body pan because of the extra height of the batteries. But apart from that, the internals, the electronics layout will be exactly the same. And bravo to the engineers that thought that up. That is an ingenious way to solve this range issue, especially from a mass production point of view. In terms of events, if you want to see the Aptera, then there is one more event planned on the 14th of September, which is Innovation Day 2023 at Pecto Park, 100 Park Boulevard, San Diego, California. This will probably be your last chance to see the Aptera for a while. I expect it will go on tour again at some point, but another interesting piece of news that Chris let slip was actually they're due to be filming after this in a film which he can't mention, presumably a sci-fi film. So I can't wait to see that come out. Whatever film that is, it'll be probably out in the next couple of years, I would imagine, if they're only filming it now. I mean, it's not a first for Aptera. They were, of course, in the Star Trek film not so long back, and they were also in the Family Guy episode, so they're getting to be quite used to this. So I'm looking forward to spotting the Aptera in an upcoming film, whichever one it might be. But that's it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for your time. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and as always, if you want to reserve an Aptera, then please do use the link down below. That will save you $30 off the reservation fee, which is totally refundable. That's it, guys. Thank you very much. See you later.